All right, guys, we are starting to wind down and talk some movie news this week, y'all. We got the usual suspects in the house. What's going on? Josan and Laser doing the Eminem thing, as Loretto kindly pointed out before the stream. Guess who's back again. Then Shady's back. Tell a friend. Nah, Laser's back. Hell, what's going on, Laser? Good to see you. And a good morning to you, Isaac, from Sweden. Thank you for joining us today, guys. We got a lot to talk about. Deadpool 3, lots of cameos loaded up in that. Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning. We got 28 years later in the works, and also a lot going on with this Greta Gerwig and these 2 installments of Chronicles of Narnia. Lots to talk about in the Flash, too, continuing to dip and decline. But, guys, let's not wait too much longer. Let me get my co-host with the most in. What's going on, Loretto, bro? How are you?
What up? I am revived. Took a good nap before the show. Had a lot of work going on this weekend, but I'm feeling good. Ready to talk shop, man.
We're fresh and ready to talk shop, baby. You and me both, man. We are gonna jump right into it, guys. Yeah. Oh, that's such a cool mug. Holy shit. That's so cute. All right, guys, we're gonna start with our first segment. Baby, guys, rate your hype on these upcoming movies from 1 to 10, guys. We had a couple of trailers this week, but we're going to start out with Killers of the Flower Moon, the film, not the book, but I heard the book is actually really good, but directed by the legendary Martin Scorsese and starring Leonardo DiCaprio, Robert De Niro, and Lily Gladstone, guys. little bit on the premise here, and this is coming out of Wikipedia. Members of the Osage tribe in northeastern Oklahoma are murdered under mysterious circumstances in the 1920s, sparking a major BOI investigation directed by a 29-year-old J. Edgar Hoover, who I don't think is actually in the movie, and then former Texas Ranger Tom White, who is played by Jesse Plemons, described by Grant as an old-style lawman. And we had a trailer debut this week, and let us know your anticipation for this one from a scale of 1 to 10. This is a long trailer, Lo, and I was saying this before this. We have Bob Marley to talk about next. These are some damn near 3-4 minute trailers, man. What did you think about this one? And it's meaty, man. So what did you think, bro? How are you feeling on a scale from 1 to 10 about this movie?
I'm gonna be real. I'm at a 10, man. I really enjoy Scorsese as a director, and I feel like the first teaser for this had a kind of a different vibe, had like a mystery thriller vibe, had like with a very like somber atmosphere from the previous trailer. But this one is a lot more charged, kind of has more of like a Goodfellas energy, got some gunplay, got some murders happening on quick clips, and it just shows the carnage of what's going to take place for the battle of this town and the between the Native Americans and of course the settlers who are trying to reap the benefits of their land. And it's a tale that when told correctly, and I think with the way that Scorsese is presenting to us in this film, it looks really, really visceral, really intense. And of course, you got talent on the screen as well with Leo DiCaprio, Bobby De Niro. You can't go wrong. And also, shouts out Lily Gladstone. She looks like she's gonna be able to hold her own with the greats. So, I'm at a 10, man. This is cinema. I love Martin Scorsese as a filmmaker, and every single piece of the teaser got me. This trailer got me. I love it.
Yeah, and this is not Lily Gladstone's first rodeo either. She was also in First Cow, and she's been in several other productions too. And man, I'm just glad they got somebody Native American to be in this role. We really don't need any casting like that. We need actual Native American people. So I was just glad to see Lily Gladstone in this role, and glad that she's Native American, and really glad to see her in this. But yeah, it's gonna be like tragic, bro. Like there's gonna be a lot of like mystery going around this, and I'm really excited to follow that storyline. It definitely is going to be a slow burn because this is 206 minutes. So we are going to be strapped in and ready for a roller coaster ride on this one of over 3 hours. So yeah, it's going to be a fun time. But what's going on, Curious Jojo? Good to see you, man.
What's up, Jojo?
Thanks for rolling in. But
Laser's worried I killed Groot.
Most anticipated movie of fall, next to Wish and Dune 2. Okay, wow. Okay, Laser. All right. Yeah, Lowe's over there drinking Groot's brains. Yeah, I'm at a 10 as well. I mean, it just looks so well directed. It looks like there's so much to chew on in this movie. There's a lot going on, and I'm excited, but at the same time, I know I'm gonna be crying. As somebody who's partially Native, I'm like, I already know I'm gonna be in the tears, y'all, in the tears. But guys, let's move on to another movie, which, gosh, this guy is killing it, man. Starring Kingsley Ben-Adir. We've got Bob Marley, One Love. Also joining him on screen will be Lashana Lynch, James Norton. I'm really excited for Lashana Lynch to be getting more work as well. But also other people who are cast in this movie is Michael Gandolfini, the son of James Gandolfini, Nadine Marshall, and Anthony Welsh. They're in undisclosed roles. I don't believe they're in the trailer either. But it is directed by Ronaldo Marcus Green, who did King Richard, Joe Bell, Monsters and Men. So quite a cool little filmography there. King Richard I actually loved, so I'm excited to see him getting his hands on something else. But the premise of this one is, I believe this is just kind of like a Bob Marley's rise to fame up until his death. So I'm excited to see Kingsley Ben-Adir embody yet another Black icon. This man is just getting all these roles where he's just chewing up scenery as some iconic Black person. I love to see it. Love that we're bringing this to life. And to me, it looks really good. I was a little worried, admittedly, just seeing the pictures. I was kind of like, I don't know. But after seeing that trailer, I'm definitely feeling a lot better about this one because I'm going to be real with you, Lo. I was like, I don't know, them dreads looking kind of funny. I'm a man. But when it was like in motion and we got to actually see, when I actually finally sat and watched the trailer, I was like, okay, he gives off Bob Marley to me. Like I trust him with this, and how he's been doing as Gravik and how he was as Malcolm X. I have nothing but confidence in Kingsley Ben-Adir. Lashana Lynch, completely underrated. I mean, she was in The Woman King and just completely got overlooked. I felt like award season came up and The Woman King got just completely snubbed out. But I feel like even in like the pushing and the talking about it around award season, I feel like Lashana Lynch, I'm like, y'all, did we watch the same movie? Because to me, she was like the standout of the supporting cast. Like I loved her portrayal in The Woman King. But man, on a scale from 1 to 10, how you feel about Bob Marley? One Love.
I'm at a solid 8 out of like you just out of pure respect for the performers, and like you, I share your sentiments. Lashana Lynch deserved a Best Supporting Actress nomination, and like I know it might be blasphemous to somebody else, but I don't think Jamie Lee Curtis was better than Stephanie Hsu in Everything Everywhere All at Once. Look, I love her, and I'm happy she gets to celebrate her entire acting career, which is kind of what the Academy does when they present an older actor with an Oscar. Sometimes it's not really that role; it's their whole body of work. And sure, celebrate it, Jamie Lee. But I thought Stephanie Hsu was better, and I actually thought Lashana Lynch was better than Jamie Lee in her role. So take that with a grain of salt if you want. But going back to Bob Marley, though, Ben Kingsley Dear I trust as well. I love, it reminds me of, R.I.P. It reminds me of Chadwick. Chadwick was Jackie Robinson. He was James Brown. And I think when you have that level of gravitas as an actor, that charisma as an actor, you can do these things. And I fully believe in Kingsley Ben-Adir. So I'm excited. I'm at an 8. The director I'm not familiar with, but from the clips I saw, it looks like I could probably sit through this one and enjoy it as is. So you're on mute, brother.
Thanks. Well said about that Chadwick comparison. It's very much like they can embody other people and still bring their own light to the role. Like they have a talent for that, I think. And I feel like we're going to see more of Kingsley Ben-Adir after this. I mean, hey, maybe I'm speaking too soon, but I mean, if this is good enough and there's enough push, maybe an actor nomination. We don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But
also, guys, if you guys look it up, there's a really cool shot of Bob Marley and his wife, and then they showed Kingsley Ben-Adir and Lashana Lynch like wearing almost the same exact. It was like they were recreating the photo, and it was like uncanny. I was like, yo, that looks really good.
That's crazy. That's like that tail shot, that shot and tail of her looking down at the casket. I love when they recreate and they look the part. Like when it looks right, I love that, man. I love when that synergy happens.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find that picture later, man. But yeah, it gave me chills. I was like, holy crap, like they really look like them. So we'll see.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Welcome in, John Lee. Thanks for coming through.
We'll be talking about disaster.
We'll be talking about Joyride a little later, but hour into the movie, the fire alarm went off. Uh-oh.
Yeah. Sorry you couldn't finish it, man.
Damn, man. It's a good one. It's a good one. So once you can finish it, you'll definitely enjoy the rest. But we're going to get to one last one. And boy, oh boy, are they stretching this franchise out. We got The Nun 2 with Michael Chavis as the director. I have no idea if I'm pronouncing that right at all. But oddly enough, was not the person on The Nun 1. I think I know why. But he did do The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. And he was the person who did The Curse of La Llorona. And I believe that's connected to the Conjuring franchise as well. But this one is starring Taissa Farmiga, who, if you guys didn't know, she starred in the first one and also in American Horror Story. She was the character Violet in the first season. And I think she was in Season of the Witch as well. And she's also Vera Farmiga's little sister. And then a slew of other cast members. I'm not familiar with any of these people, but well, how many of these? We've got the Conjurings. We've got the Nun. Don't they do the Annabelle stuff? Isn't that connected?
Yeah, that's the same universe, actually. The Conjuring universe, they're calling it.
And then the Curse of La Llorona is in it. Does it just feel like this universe is just at wit's end? Like, doesn't it feel like we should be just at the end of this? But let me not speak for you, man. How you feeling? Scale of 1 to 10, The Nun 2.
As a horror fan and as someone that just got Insidious Red Door put me out of my seat a couple of days ago. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. I'm at like a 5.8. Like, I might watch it if I have nothing better to do, maybe. I've never even seen the first one, so that tells you everything you need to know, because the first one didn't appeal to me. It looked like a cheap cash in on the Conjuring franchise. Like the first one, it got terrible reviews. I had no interest in
Rightfully
it.
so.
And as much as Taisa Farmiga I think is awesome, there was nothing about the first one that grabbed me. So I don't know, maybe I'll watch it if I have nothing going on, but I'm not running to the theater to go see this film. So
yeah, I 100% get it, man. Like that first one wasn't it. And I think the first one, there's not enough scares. I feel like it feels more like a mystery of them trying to figure out what is up with the nun and da-da-da-da-da. Besides the nun actually being on screen doing scary stuff, to me, the nun was not even present enough in the movie to really enjoy it. However, weird to say this, but James Wan is on the story for the first one. And so there's some good scares, there's some good stuff, but it's just, it doesn't come together well. And he's also not the director either. So I think I think changing directors is good, but I'm like, why do we have to take James Wan off the story? Like, I feel like if you take a James Wan off, that's like ripping off a Band-Aid. But,
right. No, and to be fair, another reason why I'm not really confident in this production is I didn't like Devil Made Me Do It. It just didn't feel like the Conjuring that we love. Even though Patrick Wilson and Vera was there, it was missing James Wan for sure.
Yeah, it just kind of, and the thing about Insidious Red Door too is like, Patrick really knows what to do with them scares. I'm like, dude, you really knew what to do with the horror, but that story just did not come together. I'm sorry, Larry. It's La Llorona.
There you go.
La Llorona. Sorry.
Hey, I was gonna tell Larry too, though. I'm like, who am I to judge, though? Because like I might have a hard time with that too. So.
La Llorona. Thank you, Larry. Thank you. The people love that nun. Highest grossing. Wait, hold on. I gotta go look at this for real.
No, I was gonna say, is that true?
Grossing.
That's like some Venom shit right there. Like people just love that shit. Like,
wait, hold. What? Okay, so I'm looking it up. Yeah, it did gross like 300 something million. Okay, so it's even more than the first Conjuring. I'm taking your word for that. Holy smokes, that is the highest grossing in the Conjuring universe. It was just not even that. It wasn't even that entertaining. $1 billion nun, according to Laser. John Lee, I love Warrior. I am not caught up, so I've not been able to watch the new season. Lo, you like Warrior?
It looks really cool. I haven't dug into it yet, though. I've heard nothing but good things. I've heard nothing but good things.
Good. I tried to wait for my dad for the longest, and it's taking him forever, dude.
Isn't the main dude? He was in Bullet Train, right?
Yeah. From what? From Warrior?
Yeah, the main dude in Warrior. Isn't that him? The guy from? No, or maybe I'm tripping. I might be thinking of that other show.
I don't think so. Are you talking about the Andrew Koji?
Hold up.
Because I know. Yeah, he is. He is.
Okay. I was gonna say because he was the one looking for his kid, or he was trying to save his kid.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he's in Bullet Train. He's also in Mortal Kombat.
That freaking movie, man. That movie just every time I hear it, I'm like,
wait, he's in Snake Eyes. I'm sorry. Not.
Okay.
Snake Eyes. Yeah, he's in Snake Eyes, which is not much better.
There you go. Hey, John's helping us out. Thank you, sir.
Yep. Storm Shadow.
There it is.
There we go, baby. Yeah, Snake Eyes. He in it. No, he's not in MK. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Joe sounds like what?
Nah, not. Thank goodness. Because that was a mess. But yeah, for the Nun 2, I'm going with I'll be nice. I'll go with a 4 out of 10. I was
That's
thinking
being nice.
I was thinking 2
I
or
was
3,
being
dude. I was thinking 2 or 3, but I will say at least in the trailer, it at least looks like maybe the nun will have a bigger presence. That was my biggest blunder in the first one was like, this woman is barely here. Why should I care?
Hey, this is a good question before we move on, though. Hey, Jojo, look, I'm not saying like screw the franchise, but I did not like the first one. But look, if the trailer for MK2 comes out, looks cool, I don't know, maybe I'll watch it. But like, I'm just saying, I was disappointed. That's all. I'm like, I'm not gonna abandon the franchise, but
JoJo, I'm gonna be there day one, and I'm gonna hope and pray that they clean up what happened with that first movie. Clean it up, because why did we have a Mortal Kombat movie without a tournament? I was just like, what the hell?
It's like the movie ends. Now you will have Mortal Kombat. Like, wait, what?
I was like, I remember when they like attacked on them, and I'm like, okay, when's the fucking tournament happening? Are we just kind of like, is this like a precursor, and they're gonna like dip out and be like, see you at the tournament? Here's a nice little tease.
No, hold up. I didn't know this. Is this for real? Carl Urban is Johnny Cage?
That's what I heard is like the rumor. I don't know that that's true. I don't want to say.
Hey, Carl Urban, he could do no wrong with me. He's fantastic.
He's great. Oh my God.
I would be on board with that. So.
The only thing is I'm like, maybe a little old. I mean, because
yeah, he is.
Cole Young?
He was in Lord of the Rings, bro. He was Éomer.
Like, right. So I'm like,
that was like 20 years ago.
Maybe a little on the older ends for Johnny Cage, unless they're going with kind of like the battered, older.
Hey, but Johnny then again, Cage, they already cast Hiroyuki as Scorpion. I thought he was old for that role too. So I mean,
well, and he's kind of like the ancestor, right? Because it's like, okay, Cole Young's kind of like his descendant, and it's like, okay,
right?
He was supposed to be like the new Scorpion. What a weird, what a weird franchise that became, man.
Yeah, and then Liu Kang was in it for like 2 seconds, like cameo of the lead character in the video game. He's just a cameo. Okay, anyways, I'm not gonna shit on that movie anymore.
Yeah, that was just and Kung Lao, and I have a lot of complaints about that movie. So many, but I guess it's an excuse to stretch out the movie by showing, and do like a part 2. Do like, oh yeah, it's part 2, and it's like, oh. But the problem with that is I'm like, okay, if you watch these both together, let's just do the Infinity War Endgame thing, and you do it back to back. I'm watching a whole 2 hours without a tournament, you know?
And also, would you have felt better if they marketed it as we are getting to the tournament? Like, would you have felt better about that? Like,
if this was kind of like the build up to the Mortal Kombat, sure, go for it, man. Or this is like part 1 and then part 2 is the tournament. Okay, but to advertise it as Mortal Kombat, which is the tournament, that's the meat and bones of every game and movie in the Mortal Kombat franchise, and then to just be like a precursor, it was weird, man. What an odd execution. Scorpion's a dad, of course, he's a bit old. Yeah, he can be, you know, if it's Hiroyuki Sanada, you can do whatever you want, sir. You're fantastic. All right, guys, let's move into the main meat and potatoes of the show, guys, the Roundup.
All right. Let's kick it off with Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. See, this movie tells you there's more to come.
Yeah, right.
It's officially fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. It has a 99% score from 158 reviews the last time I checked it. So that's a pretty healthy number of healthy, positive reviews. I can't remember what the score was for Top Gun Maverick, but we all know how well that did last year. So does Tom Cruise have it in him to save the summer? Because as you guys know, for the past 2-3 weeks, we've been talking about how underwhelming box office returns have been for every single blockbuster film. I'm worried about this one, but how do you feel, Leo? Do you think this score is going to help the film in the box office, or do you think we're already kind of doomed right now? Like, how do you feel about this whole thing?
Bump, 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 bump. Guys, I honestly think this is going to be one of the better box office returners. I was at a fan screening for it on Thursday. By the way, I do think controversial, but it is my favorite in the franchise so far. So I give a little merit to that. But the way I feel is I think that it's not necessarily going to do Top Gun numbers, but I do think it's going to bring in like 600 mil. Like, I'm honest with you, Lo, like that screening room was packed to the brim. And the only time I saw it like that when IMAX for a fan screening was John Wick in the last Top Gun. So I'm like, I think Tom Cruise is coming for another Save the Summer. I think what's going to happen, here's my prediction of the box office. I think you're going to see it top the box office, the weekend it comes out, which is this weekend. Then I think you're going to see Barbie sneak at number 1 for one weekend, and then it's going to go right back to Mission Impossible. I think this is a great movie. I think you got Haley Atwell in it. But not only that, you've got Tom back with the team. People love this franchise. People love the Mission Impossible franchise. What did Fallout even end up making? I'm going to just really quick check that, because I think Mission Impossible Fallout did pretty good in the box office. Yeah, it made $791 million.
That's actually pretty solid.
Yeah, I could see something along the lines of like 600 million, 650 million. Maybe it even does the Guardians thing and cracks at 800 and just runs for a long time. But I mean, if this is Dead Reckoning Part 1, Dead Reckoning Part 2 does well, and Top Gun, that's 3 summers in a row that Tom Cruise is just going to be an absolute star and box office savior, really. So, in my opinion, say what you will, I think there's a bit of a new connection to Tom Cruise after Top Gun. I think after Top Gun, audiences, young and old, are starting to really connect or reconnect with Tom Cruise again. I think he's become a megastar. Obviously, he's been a megastar for a while, but I think with Top Gun 2, I think that has really set him up to be a megastar in the eyes of the new generation, the Gen Zs, the younger millennials. I think a lot of people are going to love seeing Tom Cruise's name on stuff, and he's going to pack seats out. I think it's absolutely going to do well in the box office, man. What do you think?
I'm nervous, man. I'm nervous. I think my one concern is, like, I love that he's doing these batshit crazy stunts, and that parachuting off the motorcycle thing that he did, and he showed the tape that he did it. It made me wonder, because we saw that footage almost a year ago. It made me wonder, like, would it have benefited this film to show that, like, this week or like last month, or kind of keep it fresh in our minds versus a year ago? Like, they first released the teaser trailer for this a year ago, so it makes me wonder, like, I don't know if that helped or hurt it or not, but I mean, I'm excited. I'm gonna be there day one. I'm already in the middle of my marathon for the film, so yeah, we'll see. I'm a little worried, but you know, hopefully this could be the savior that the box office needs, because man, we've been talking about it, that the American, US theaters, the world theaters worldwide, we all need this movie to save us, because numbers are down across the board.
Well, and what's crazy is, like, you're seeing some very crazy patterns, because Elemental is just holding on. It just passed 200 million worldwide. It just passed 100 million domestic. I'm like, that movie is somehow, we're starting to see these movies really stretch their legs and be able to run. And ironically, the movie that features the most running is running all the fucking way into the ground.
Oh man, I was gonna say that bleeds us right into our next segment. But but before we go there, though, I do want to say, I think Elemental has that special case of, I mean, as maybe we were like jumping the gun on the Pixar brand being tarnished, because I think it does have some sway with people that if they walk up to the movie theater, they look up and they're like, "Oh, isn't that a Pixar movie? Let's check it out."
Yeah,
you know, I think that some of that is there, and then also having that family dynamic, that's always going to help you, you know, hold course for throughout your run. So, but let's go to our next story, which is exactly what you brought up, Leo. The Flash, DC's superhero that so many people love from the comics. The film has dropped out of thousands of theaters, and it's about to settle its domestic haul at 110 mil, which is about $6 million less than Green Lantern, the Ryan Reynolds version, which a lot of people didn't enjoy as well. So this could be DC's worst movie ever by the numbers, and you know, even like audience and critic reception is just kind of like lukewarm. It's just not what we thought it was going to be. I'm not gonna lie, I knew this movie wasn't gonna do as well as we thought, but this is incredible. I didn't think it was gonna be this bad. This is like historically bad. I mean, is this catching you by surprise, Leo?
Yeah, because I mean, I liked the movie, so I guess I didn't see it doing that bad. But I mean, Elemental's about to top the Flash, bro. Like, we're in a world here where it's like, yeah, the biggest superhero movie is about to get dethroned by a rom-com, and no hard feelings. So 2 rom-coms. I mean, it's It's ridiculous, man. 3. I mean, let's throw Joyride in there. 3. I mean, this is just the latest big superhero movie just coming up under 3 rom-coms. The new reality is you cannot make movies with shitty people and have shitty VFX. You just can't, like, that's where the whole narrative shifted. It went from, oh my God, this is great. This is one the best since Dark Knight to, wow, these VFX are terrible. Wow, this isn't that great. This doesn't look good. Yeah, John Lee says crazy that Black Adam did better.
What's the Black Adam's haul right now?
Over 300 million.
Oh wow! See, at least they got closer to making back their marketing costs, which the Flash is probably not going to get that money back.
Black Adam is 393.3 million was what it did, and I blame a lot of that on Dwayne Johnson. I think a lot of that is The Rock and how much he promoted that and how much he was really hyping up that movie. But yeah, the Flash is sitting at like 261. So
that's nuts.
Whoop. Now it's got a lot of people wondering if James Gunn's DCU is dead on arrival, and the only thing is, if that Superman Legacy is not a hit, they might as well close up shop.
Right.
Close it down.
Right. And I think you're right. I think the future of DCU as we know it, everything's on that movie, man. That movie's got to hit. There's no ifs, ands, or buts, and I trust James Gunn to deliver the film. But it also makes you wonder, will audiences show out? I think that's going to be a very interesting thing to look into in the future, when that film does release. So
yeah, I'm just wondering how Superman Legacy is going to turn up. You're going to have a lot of the general public still is going to be confused. They're still going to be like, wait, I thought wasn't it Henry Cavill in that Black Adam movie? Dude, I'm going through like comments on the trailer. I was going on comments through the trailer for Craven, and a lot of people were like, wait, isn't Russell Crowe Zeus? So like people are confused, like they're confused about that. They're gonna be confused about David Cornsway. They're gonna be like, wait, I thought Henry Cavill come back in the Black Adam? Like what?
Right.
So yeah, there's I guess one thing to look forward to from that is it is a year away. So 2025 like is gonna give them a nice. It'll give them some breathing room to be like, hey, we've got a brand new Superman. We've got a brand new universe. Forget everything else you've seen. Like, this is brand new. So they better push that pretty hard.
Right. And also, we've mentioned this before, but I feel bad for Blue Beetle. I think Blue Beetle is getting set up for failure, but, we'll see. Maybe it surprises us. Like, Shazam kind of surprised me when the first Shazam came out. So, I mean, we'll see.
And somebody brought up a really good point the other day. I love George Lopez, but aside from him, there's not a big name in the movie. There's really not a huge.
Right.
You don't really have a big. You don't have a big cast member. Like you don't have somebody that you don't have like a like a Salma Hayek or like a Sofia Vergara. Even you don't have like a big Latino Hispanic actor besides George Lopez, which I was like, hey, what about George? And this person brought up the fact that okay, he's big in TV, not necessarily like movie big. And I'm like, well, I mean, it's George Lopez, but I get where they're coming from. It's like from a general audience standpoint, George Lopez is gonna sell some comedy tickets, baby, for that stand-up. He gonna get the people to tune into his show. Is he gonna get people to watch the movie? And I'm like,
he's not really a box office
haul either. He's not a box office super draw. So that's what I'm saying. Like you have if you had like a Salma Hayek or somebody like a big J-Lo or someone like somebody like with huge notoriety, that would help. And
just because people know George Lopez doesn't mean they're gonna go run to his movie, So
right. And I do think that would help. And also I feel like they're not marketing this enough as like the first like Latin superhero, the first Latino superhero like on screen. Like, y'all, we really need DC to do what Marvel did with Black Panther, man. Y'all, they really need to be appealing to Latin, Hispanic audience. They need to really be bringing in people like Marvel did with the Black people. Marvel brought blacks to the theater for Black Panther, and I'm telling you that. Because I showed up and I see some people, I'm like, I know you ain't seen not one Marvel movie. And I'm talking to you, my cousins. Some of them ain't seen one Marvel movie and they were ready for Black Panther. My mom and dad, they didn't watch the whole freaking MCU. Like my dad had seen like Iron Man, a couple others. They were there for Black Panther, dude. That's how that needs to be with Blue Beetle, and I don't see that happening. So,
but to the point of WB and DC kind of they've been fumbling the bag for like almost a decade now. It just shows how short-sighted and how tone deaf they are, because they are not doing that, and they should.
Yeah, and it's like, think about what was so helpful with Black Panther, it's like you had like Forrest Whitaker, and you had Angela Bassett, and you had Chadwick Boseman himself as a big name. You had Michael B. Jordan. It's like, okay, this cast is not as loaded as I think it could be.
Yeah.
Like, I think you have big names and Latino and Hispanic actors and actresses that you could have really involved in this that I think might have been a bit of a missed opportunity. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself because this was supposed to be a straight to Max anyway.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. So this was supposed to go to streaming first.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, this was made for Max. Like, it was just like Batgirl. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was supposed to be. Yeah. Yep. So I'm pulling it up now. By December 2020, DC Films was planning to release several mid-budget films a year exclusively on the streaming service HBO Max, with Blue Beetle listed as one project. So, okay. With that perspective in mind, I completely take back everything I've said. Oh, man. Sorry, Lo. I am on a ramble.
No, you're good, man.
We got Curious JoJo, who's scared for Blue Beetle. Isn't it like 45 days away? Yeah. It's like a month and 7 days away.
And then to the point, I mean, maybe they're not trying to lose any more money, but the marketing for Blue Beetle, I'm not seeing a lot of it. I'm like...
We've had one trailer.
It's crazy. I'm not seeing TV spots for it.
You know what I said, Lo? I told the friend that I was talking to who was talking about not enough star power. My prediction, I don't want this to happen, but I think they straight to Max that shit. I think they say we're going to do theaters and straight to Max, or they do that. They do a theatrical run for like a week and it's going to drop on Max, bro.
That's going to be so sad.
Like, I hate to make that prediction, but...
Yeah. I mean, that's just the state of DC right now and WB, so...
Yeah.
Got a lot of work to do, James Gunn.
A lot of work to do. Sorry for the rambling.
Nah, you're good, man. But let's keep it trucking, man. Let's get away from the superheroes for a while, especially with how bad this one's gotten. I don't know about you, Leo. I mean, well, actually, you know what? I do know, because you're not much of a fantasy guy, but this kind of is exciting for me. Netflix's Chronicles of Narnia reimagining signs Greta Gerwig to direct at least 2 episodes, which the verbiage of this is interesting, because it's like maybe they want Greta to do more, and I think maybe Greta is like, hold on, like I don't want to spend all my time doing this, so she's on for at least 2, maybe more. I have to find that wordage, the wording behind that interesting. But as someone that read the C.S. Lewis novels as a kid, and if people don't know this, J.R.R. Tolkien and C.S. Lewis, who wrote Chronicles of Narnia, they're really good friends, and a lot of Lord of the Rings took inspiration from Chronicles of Narnia. Just like the fantastical world building elements, they shared a lot of conversation and talk. And what was it? Chronicles of Narnia actually predates Lord of the Rings by a few decades, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm excited for this. There's no word on any casting yet. I didn't even know Netflix bought the rights to this, but this is a franchise I think that, if you look at what they did with The Witcher, I think this is a franchise they could do well with. We'll see. I mean, I know the box office for the films went down and down ever since the very first Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, which was directed by Andrew Adamson, if I'm not mistaken. He did the first Shrek. I liked that one, but I'm gonna be honest, I didn't watch Prince Caspian. I didn't watch the other one. I think it was Voyage of the Dawn Treader or something like that. They somehow lost their audience with that, and I think with this being on Netflix, I think this will definitely show more eyes to this fantasy world that maybe like a lot of people aren't familiar with. But how about you, Leo? Did you ever get a chance to read the book or read into the first couple of films?
So I did read the first book, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. I've read that. And I did like the first movie, but like you, completely fell off the Prince Caspian stuff. completely fell off. I mean, the Voyage of the Dawn, I didn't watch either movie.
Right.
I found the first movie to be enjoyable.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it was like Lord of the Rings level.
Right.
Film wise, like I can't compare, but I will say that like it was charming, it was fun. I liked Aslan a lot in the movie, which I was like, how the hell did Lion King miss out and Aslan actually has expressions and stuff? But anyway.
Well, not just that. Liam Neeson was born to play Aslan, man.
Born! He was so good. I was just like, dude, how the hell do you have like Liam fucking Neeson showing up, giving this wonderful performance as Aslan, and then you have fucking Lion King 20 years later, and poor James Earl Jones, we love you, man, but come on, man, he was struggling on that mic.
He was sleep reading his lines.
Sleeping. But yeah, I think this is a franchise just like Percy Jackson that I think needs like a revival. It needs a new suit. You know what I mean? They need to brush the dust off and give it a new refreshing feel. So I like that. I'm down with that. And Greta Gerwig, hell yeah, I'm super down. Like,
yeah, I was just gonna say that sold me. I don't know who's gonna be in it. I don't even know what it looks like yet. But Greta Gerwig, I'm down, man. I've enjoyed every single film she's released, and you and me are gonna be seated for Barbie, so I'm excited.
We're going to guys, we're going to Barbie on Thursday, goddamn it, before SDCC. We gonna be seated, ready. I've liked all her stuff. Little Women's a little boring to me, but it's still a well.
I love Little Women, but yeah, I mean, I'm excited. We'll see. She's a very promising young, talented filmmaker. So,
and she's also doing the screenplay for Snow White.
Oh, really? I did not know that. Get the bag, Greta.
Get the bag.
All right, moving right along to another realm of the Disneyverse. Jodie Turner-Smith joins Evan Peters and Jared Leto in the upcoming Tron sequel, Tron Ares. And I know Tron Legacy itself, and even the first Tron from 1981, I believe, 82, there's a cult following for this film, but also there's like a bunch of people that are like, what's Tron? So it's going to be interesting to see how the box office fares for this version of the film. Joseph Kosinski, who did Top Gun Maverick, actually directed Tron Legacy, which I didn't realize. It actually makes me want to revisit it because I liked Tron Legacy more than most people. And I will watch this regardless of Jared Leto. I just like the universe that this is set in. I love the visuals. I love that whole light cycle. And like this is awesome. This is something that speaks to me personally, despite I don't care for Jared Leto with his method acting and all that. So I'm excited for this project. I'm actually one of those people that was shouting like Tron Legacy needed the sequel, and obviously that movie came out almost a decade ago. So how about you, Leo? Did you enjoy Tron Legacy? No.
Really. I'll be real with you. I'm a big sci-fi guy, but Tron as a whole, I'm just like, even the original doesn't really do nothing for me.
For sure.
But you know what? I'm down. I mean, Evan Peters, right on. I'm with you when it comes to Jared Leto.
And Jodie Turner-Smith was in Queen and Slim with Daniel Kaluuya.
Yeah, that was a good movie. I think a little overhated a little. The Queen and Slim.
Yeah, I was gonna say that movie kind of came and went, had like no fanfare, and like, critics were kind of harsh on it.
Yeah, so. I was like, I think that it was a little over ate up, if you will. Like people were just eating it alive, and I'm like, hold on now.
Right.
But yeah, listen, right on. I'm still waiting for my Alita Battle Angel, so I'll be in my corner waiting for my sequel for that.
For sure. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think Olivia Wilde should be back too. And her role in Tron Legacy, that was like my first time really getting a glimpse of Olivia Wilde. I was like, yo, who is that? So just being honest. But we'll see. Of course, a trailer will say a lot. This film is still, I think they're gonna start filming in August. So this is all pre-production stuff. We'll find out, as soon as rubber hits the road. I think the one reservation I have, and we've talked about this before, the director, Joaquin something, he did Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man Tell No Tales, and he did Maleficent, Mistress of Evil. I never saw the second one. I wasn't sure if it was good or bad. So
he's writing?
No, he's directing this.
Oh.
Your face.
That
You're like,
Dead Man Tells No Tales. That motherfucker sucked, man. That shit sucked. Was that the
oh man,
last one, or was that? No, you know
yeah,
what? You know
that
what?
was the last one with Javier Bardem, and I think they did like
Okay.
a young Will Turner or something like
Yeah, they
that. Like
did. They also did like because it was Will Turner's son, and they did like
right.
who was played by like Brenton Thwaites. Super fucking weird with the aging there. But I was thinking of the one like a few before that. I'm stuck in that Pirates of the Caribbean. I'm like, I don't know. The Stranger Tides was the one. That one's horrible. Sorry.
No, you're good. Hey, wait, hold up. Wasn't that the one with Penelope Cruz?
Yes, and it's horrible.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta rewatch it. I thought I remember liking that one.
Penelope's great, but I mean, she cannot save the horrid movie that is. It's terrible.
Right. Well, now I do have some reservations about the director, but again, we're a long way out from this particular film, but I like the way this casting's turning up. I'm very curious to see what direction the story goes. It's still kind of, in talks. So,
listen, man, we'll talk about it later with Insidious. We got to start heeding and seeing these warnings and people who worked on these previous projects.
Right. Some of these films got red flags on them already. And I know you're not too excited about this one, Leo, but this news actually just dropped today. Alex Garland has actually finished a script for 28 years later, a follow-up to 28 Weeks Later, and the original horror classic 28 Days Later. Original director Danny Boyle and original actor Cillian Murphy are interested in returning. 28 Days Later, I was telling Leo, this is like in my top 15, top 20 horror films, and I know some films don't need sequels. I totally get that, but I was pleasantly surprised by 28 Weeks Later with Jeremy Renner and what's his name, Carlisle Davis or something like that. The intro of 28 Weeks Later is something I've never forgotten. It was really, really well written. I think if they just end it in the right manner, I think this is a film worth watching. If you go back to Night of the Living Dead, they had Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead. So I feel like there's room here in this universe to just bookend the story, in my opinion, especially if it's Danny Boyle and Alex Garland, because they're both awesome directors and writers that I trust. There's minus Men, of course. I didn't enjoy Men, but Alex Garland and Danny Boyle are two of my favorite filmmakers. Honestly, they do great work. Annihilation, Train Spotting, the list goes on and on for some of these. Slumdog Millionaire. So if Ex Machina. Yeah, there you go, Ex Machina. So I'm on board with this. If they're all in it and they're passionate and they're ready to close the story, I'm on board. I know you're not too excited, Leo, but I mean, how did you like the first one? You liked it, right?
Oh yeah, I like 28 Days Later a lot. I actually did like Men as well. But I mean, I don't know. I was telling you earlier, some of this stuff is like, man, we're digging up so many franchises, man. And I think, you know what it was for me was Indiana Jones. That just got me kind of like, man, can we just leave these alone, bro?
Right. Like maybe some franchises are better left dead, right?
Yeah, I mean, just better left alone to have the duality of these two. Or honestly, I could have even done without 28 Weeks Later. It wasn't a terrible movie, but I was just kind of like, man, how many sequels are we gonna be stuck in here? And I think that's what's so appealing about the Barbie Oppenheimer thing is it's like those are two original movies. Original. So I love that you got the two original coming out. You got Elemental. I'll say, I mean, this summer box office, man, we got some nice little originals rolling through. So I'm like, yay, original movies. And then, nope, here this is to remind us that we're going to keep digging up franchises from 28 years ago.
And look, I mean, I've kind of accepted it the same way that I've accepted the Disney live action nonstop machine. They're going to remake everything. I think, look, we're not going to change because Hollywood's not going to change. So we can't change the system ourselves. So my thing is, okay, legacy sequels, are they being done to death? Yeah, kind of, but there's going to be good ones out there. And I think with the original director and an original writer, I'm more inclined to watch 28 years later than, let's just say, I don't know, if they announced like an Indiana Jones prequel, I would be nervous as hell. I'd be like, oh God, just let it die, right? So, that I think that's where I'm at. Like
they're turning it out. You already know.
Like for example, I think Goonies 2 is somewhere in development hell still, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know how I feel about that. So
you already know Helena, an Indiana Jones story is.
Oh God, yeah,
it's on the way. You already know, man.
Man, Helena's gonna use the Dial of Destiny and then meet up with Mutt and save him, and then they're gonna go on adventures. I don't know, man.
Man, why was
did I just spoil Indiana Jones? Anyways,
it's all good. Man, why was Short Round not in that damn movie?
Seriously, no. That
I'm
movie
like, he's just coming out of a damn Oscar win. Get him in.
Man, well, I think he was filming it. He couldn't make the filming because I think he was filming.
Oh, because yeah.
But John Williams in the house. Thank you for the awesome score. He's on board.
Love your scores, man.
Christopher Mark's giving us some facts here.
What up, Chris?
Yeah, thanks for joining us, Christopher. He says Alex Garland finished the script years ago, but he was busy directing other films. So
yeah, Shadow directed Dread. I knew about that. Uncredited.
Right. So
didn't the credit go to Pete Travis, who did not direct that? Yeah, Dread. I think the director credit went to Pete Travis.
Okay.
Garland said he's looking to retire from directing and go back to writing. Boyle said maybe Garland is going to direct. Hell, I'm down for either or. I mean, I'm gonna be real with you guys. I'm probably the only one on the planet that liked Men. I really liked Men. A lot of people didn't like it, but I liked it. I do think it kind of overcomplicates its very simple message, but
right. I was gonna say, I mean, it had some moments that were pretty cool, but it was not what I thought it was gonna be.
Especially that having a child from your throat over and over and over.
Oh Lord, yeah, vagina
that was
throats.
Crazy.
Vagina throats is not something I would ever thought I'd see in my lifetime of cinema. Right. But thank you, Alex Garland. Anyways, I'm hyped as a horror fan. I'm hyped as a fan of all these great filmmakers and actors. I'm excited. So we'll see. We're a long ways away from this one as well, but let's go to the big news of the hour. I always try to close the roundup with the hot topic. On-set photos of Deadpool 3 have leaked, and we got a brand new suit for Ryan Reynolds. Supposedly Channing Tatum and Jennifer Garner are confirmed to cameo as both Gambit and Elektra, respectively. This is a concept art for Wolvie. I just threw it in there because I heard a lot of rumors that he's going to wear the infamous yellow suit. Yeah, that fans have been craving, like seeing his like costume accurate look for a long time. So hopefully we do get it. And if you look closely, I couldn't find some high def pictures, but the new Deadpool suit has the Deadpool emblem on his belt, which I find hilarious. Like, of course he has an emblem of himself on his belt. So and it looks a little bit more vibrant because I think the original Deadpool costume was a very muted, almost like maroonish tone. And I think this suit's gonna pop more. It's gonna be a lot more red, which I think will look interesting on film. So what do you think about all this, Leo? And me personally, before I pass it to you, I'm kind of irritated about the cameo news because this is something I would have enjoyed watching the movie and being surprised by. I don't like the fact that these news outlets and these paparazzi folk are like dishing out all these rumors and whatever. It's like, save the cameos for the fans, man. I mean, that's just how I feel. How about you, Leo?
Yeah, so this is a lot to unpack. So with the Wolverine stuff, apparently there's going to be several different versions of him. So it's going to be one in the suit. I think like a Logan style. I don't know, man. Like there's going to be like different styles of him. So it's going to be weird. But yeah, I'm with you, man. Like the Jennifer Garner stuff, I could have just waited, man. Like all the shit, we could just wait. But it just seems like a way to market and pedal along like interest and really keep interest and eyes on the stuff. I knew that this was going to be a cameo fest. Like I already knew. So like I've known some people who are like, oh, well, we're doing cameos again. Come on, man. I knew that we were going to get cameos here. I like the suit. I like how it looks. It makes me wonder though, is it going to be that muted red in post? Like, is this just kind of how set photos look? Kind of like, Shazam, the first Shazam. Remember when we saw set photos, that suit was a much brighter red. So I'm wondering if like this is
so maybe that's just like, for okay. It might be different in post. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. I was like, I wonder if this is just the set photo look, and it's like okay, in post it's more of like that muted red. So I'm curious to see how it's going to look in the final version. But yeah, like a slightly brighter red would be cool, and I think would help like make some differences between its Fox version and the MCU version that we're going to cross over into here. I hope it's not just cameo after cameo after cameo. What am I saying? It is going to be. It's going to be that. I mean, it's like a farewell to the Fox universe. And I titled this video, Deadpool 3 Kills the Fox Universe, because that's what we're doing here. There's a ton of Fox characters that we're saying goodbye to. The Gambit thing reminds me of a cameo in The Flash. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay. Well, yeah, that reminds me of that, but it also reminds me of like John Krasinski and as Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah, that one too.
Because it's like it's one of those fan things that people have been wanting to see, and it's like,
well,
let's just give it to
the
them.
Gambit movie was in development, so it was like, okay, this was supposed to be a thing, but
yeah,
we're gonna show it to you now in a quick Deadpool 3 scene.
And as someone that I wasn't sure about Channing Tatum for the role, I still think it's gonna be fun as hell just to see it. So.
Hoping for the hand showing, unless the cameo is like DP2 and just a comedic thing. Yeah, I'm wondering if that's how these cameos are going to be. Like, I think that these cameos are definitely going to just be like oh, yeah, hey, it's Jennifer Garner. Oh, shit. Like, and I'll say this. I've seen a leaked photo of... That's all I'm going to say.
Okay. Of another cameo that hasn't been announced?
Yeah, we'll say that. I've seen a leaked photo of Deadpool 3, and I'm like, I kind of see where they're going with this. It's probably going to be like a road trippy type deal with Hugh and Ryan, and then they're going to bump into a lot of people. I think that's what'll end up happening.
Okay.
Wanted Johnny Depp as Gambit?
Maybe like
that one, man.
Maybe like 30 years ago, man, but I don't know. He's really old for the role now.
I'm sure that's what he meant, like back in the when it was originally supposed to be concepted, but.
Yeah, and maybe in the era of when he was doing his weird Jack Sparrow thing, that might have fit a little bit. I could see him doing the accent, the Cajun accent and all that.
Yeah, so Christopher Mark with a good fact here. Tatum had been writing that solo Gambit movie for years. Yeah, that got caught up in development hell. Tatum had the cameo on Free Guy. Yeah, that was fun. I liked that. I did like that. So if it's similar energy to that, I'm down.
I feel like Channing Tatum just loves popping in other people's movies, right? Like, do you remember? Like, I jumped out of my chair when he popped up in Hateful Eight. I was like, "What the hell? He's in this movie!" And then
right, he just was like in it, and I was like, "Oh shit, okay."
Yeah, and then what was it, Bullet Train? He just showed up. I was like, "Oh, what the?"
Like, oh shit. You know what though? Like, whenever you see him now, it's like, "Oh man." Yeah, so man, I'm excited for the cameos. We'll see how it goes. We'll see.
And honestly, I mean, if they do like a muted version of Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe, whatever, like I actually think that's awesome. This is something I wanted to see. So, if that's the route they're going, like I'm on board.
Yeah, I'm bored, baby. I'm bored.
And we have a last bit of news you wanted to touch on, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about Superman and what James Gunn has now conceived to be Superman's age. Apparently in Superman Legacy, he's going to be David Cornsweat's age, which David Cornsweat is 28 or 29. And I thought that this was originally going to be a younger Superman. So when you think a younger Superman, you think 25, 24, 23. Not that 30's old. I mean, listen, we're in our 30s. That ain't old. In the grand scheme of life, that's still youth, baby. But at the same time, when he said young, we think of like, where Cavill started, which I think his Superman was along the lines like 24, 25. This feels a little experienced. And so I want to ask you, we've got this going on. We had the whole Blue Beetle is in the DCU, but not the movie. Does it feel like James Gunn is kind of like going back on some of the things he said earlier with the DCU? Does it feel like things are already off to a confusing start? How do you feel?
I mean, if this is one thing James Gunn is notorious for, is maybe to a fault, he just is open with fans on the Twitter. He will respond to you if you say something that piques his interest, and Look, I just want him to just give us a concrete answer. I'm not so mad about the flip-flopping, but at some point it'd be good to know, like, okay, this is the answer. You know what I mean? And also, to your point earlier, we talked about this before the show. I like the idea of a young Superman, like when Henry Cavill got hired at the Daily Planet, he was just starting to become an adult. I kind of like that as the start of our Superman. But I mean, I know James Gunn has a vision for it, so as of right now, I'm gonna trust the vision. But it is kind of weird that he kind of went back and forth on that. So
yeah, Christopher Mark adding some good context here. No Superman origin here. There's not gonna be an origin. There's no. Oh, let's look at Krypton. None of that, because it'll be in Supergirl, Woman. Oh my goodness, Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. Yeah, at this point, I'm almost just kind of sick of the stuff that's coming out with this. Like, I'm kind of just like, all right, we religiously followed the casting. We're sharing story details. All right, I think I'm ready to just like lean back and let it come out. I'm almost done, like sick of talking about it at this point.
Right.
Like, let's just let this come out. Shit. But we'll have to wait and see what James is cooking on. We'll get to our next segment here. All right, guys, we're back. We're ready to talk some movies. Talk the first big movie the only big movie that dropped this weekend, which felt a little secretive, didn't it? Felt a little.
Yeah, I was gonna say the marketing for this was not strong.
There was no press screenings. There was like no critic reception prior.
Hey, I will say though, there was a really clever prank they were doing. I think it was in Hollywood, somewhere in LA, because they always do shit like that in LA. They had a fence where pedestrians could just walk by, and there was a red door you could open, and the red-faced demon was behind the door, bro. It was like an actor with a freaking scary-ass mask, and people
that actor
were just
walking punched.
People were.
I real with you, man. I would have socked his ass.
No, so there's some viral clips of that, but other than that, I didn't see a lot of like TV spots for it. I didn't see a lot of trailers for it. So
yeah, it was just like they just kind of dumped it in the theaters. Oh, Laser said it sucks monkey butt. Oh man. Yeah, it just kind of came out. It just kind of dropped in the theaters, and it was like, this is like the first Insidious in a few years, and this follows up 1 and 2, which were the stronger parts of the franchise, if you ask me. Okay, so Christopher Mark, Patrick Wilson was directing, likely why. Having their star helming was a little different. Yeah, but get some screenings out there. Get some critic reception. Get some more trailers and teasers. Like, I don't even remember another trailer dropping for this before the movie. So
no, they only have that one.
Yeah, we'll see. The box office is doing well. It toppled, like you said, took down Indy 5, but I mean, Indy 5 wasn't doing great anyway. Yeah, Insidious Red Door. I'm kind of getting sick of this franchise at this point, because after the second Insidious, where they wipe the mind and they do the little mind wipe thing, it makes it a little hard to come back, because then you have to rediscover everything that happened in the first one. And so I think that was one issue with this Insidious, the Red Door. We retreaded a lot of the same ground. Like, we're relearning things, we're revisiting things that it was like, this was cool in Insidious 1. Us, the viewers, know about this. We're 5 movies in. We already know about these things, the astral projections and things like that. So it's a little strange to see characters going through those learning curves again. And then I just think that it's got a weird pacing to it, and it doesn't pay off a lot of its side stories very well. I think there is a very central theme to the movie of fatherhood and traumatic experiences through that. And I just think that, unfortunately, it just did not execute that message well. I think it rushed through a lot of those beats, because we were talking yesterday, I believe, about this movie, and there are these great like scenes in the film, especially in the beginning, between Patrick Wilson and the actor who plays Dalton, who was the same actor from the first one. This kid is an adult.
Yeah, Hi
But
Simpson,
the
I
two of
think, or
them,
something like that.
yeah, the two of them have great chemistry on screen together. You can feel the tension. You can feel like the father-son separation going on. And I was like, I really want to explore that. And I think there wasn't enough of that. But the scares, really good, man. What did you think?
Yeah, so I'm a really big fan of the first two. Chapter 2 is actually my favorite of the franchise. I rewatched all of the movies leading up to this, and 3 is a lot better than it has any right to be. 3 actually surprised me. I liked the ending of 3. It's
That
one of my
first prequel one?
Yeah, it was one of my favorite endings in the franchise because of just it had a lot of heart, and I was really engaged with the story there. It was like a daughter and a father. He's a widower. The mom died, and so there was like a dynamic there that I really liked. Last Key was hard to watch. It was Last Key. Last Key. Yeah, that was not it. I'll just say that. And this one, it's a lot better than the Last Key, but it's not a whole lot better than Chapter 3. And that's just saying that, like you said, familiar ground. Nothing we haven't seen before. Nothing like breaking the mold of this horror, haunted, demonic entity thing. There's nothing new here. But you said, the scares did get me. I jumped out of my seat on 3 different occasions. And it wasn't cheap to me because I felt like the setup was really good. It was a really good setup, especially when Patrick Wilson gets in the MRI table. That was
good.
That was good because it's like, see, like it to me, it's not cheap because if you've ever been in that machine before, or if you've ever even like just gone an X-ray or something, like it's always a nervous feeling being in the doctor's office. You're not sure how this thing's gonna go. It's like it's just a weird feeling, and then to add on top of that apparitions and ghastly things, and you're helpless. It's a brilliant setup in my opinion. But yeah, it's well acted. We didn't have enough Rose Byrne. We didn't have enough of like you said, the father son dynamic, and I think it falls on the screenwriter. Patrick Wilson did an admirable job framing the film and setting up the film, but yeah, the script wasn't quite as strong. And Lee Wanell has his issues, but he did write the first 4 films, and that's just I think that's what was missing here. We missed his touch because he knows these characters better than anybody. And I think that's my biggest thing. The script was poor, and ultimately, I think if I had to rate the film, I'm kind of like at a 3 stars out of 5. I enjoyed it, but didn't love it.
I'm with you, man. I think I'm like at a 6 out of 10, 3 out of 5 as well. Lee Wanell did the story on this one with Scott Teems, and you could just feel that Scott Teems. Like, I'll just be real with y'all, man. That Scott Teems, if you guys didn't know, is the dude behind Firestarter and Halloween Kills.
And you know what's funny? As someone that didn't hate Halloween Kills, it does still have scripting issues. So.
Yeah, it's got major script issues, and he did the screenplay. So you've got him on the screenplay and the story, and then Lee Wanell is also on the story. And for me, I was like, man, I miss James Wan. I was like, I miss James Wan being on this. I miss because he was on Insidious 2 as well?
Or yeah, well, that was the first 2. Yeah, that was totally like his vision because
man.
Because Chapter 2, one of the reasons why I like it so much is it was just so visually interesting.
Yeah. Chapter 2, I think it's a little too much hate.
Right.
Yeah.
Like the bodies with the sheets, and then
that second one is good to me, man. I fuck with the second one.
And also, I loved how the second one tied into the first one so well. Like, remember the first one that the house alarm went off, and we don't know why. It was never explained, but in Chapter 2, they explained why the house alarm was going off. So,
and I just watched the prequels just recently, actually. On Friday, I watched Chapter 3, and then Saturday, I watched The Last Key. Or Thursday, I watched Chapter 3, and then the Saturday after, I watched Last Key. That Last Key sucks.
Last Key.
But James Wan, I think I miss James Wan. I think the scares are there, the horror's there, but like the storytelling is really not there anymore for the franchise. I think after 3, we started stretching it out a little too far because it was like, okay, you had a very conclusive Chapter 2. And then we do that one prequel, and it's like, okay, we could could totally just finish off right there, and we're just kind of
Right.
trickling it out here. And I
And
just
look,
think
Lin Shaye is great, but they kind of just overdid it with her. Like,
they did,
it's like
man.
they kept like exploring her character, and I'm like, dude, she died in the first movie. Like,
I know, and I was
why?
like, Grandma ain't been around since Insidious, bro.
Like, what are we doing? Like, they kind of like did that character to death. And I mean, nothing against the actress. I think she's great, but
yeah, I mean, she's fantastic, but it was just kind of a weird presence type thing they were trying to do with it, and it was like, just one clip maybe, and then let's get away from it. But like, it was weird how over involved she seemed, because it's like she's not even like that involved in the second one.
right.
So I'm like, I don't know why they had her like just so much about it, but yeah, Insidious Red Door. I just wish that the story and the central themes were executed better. I think you have a short movie, so there's not a lot of time to do some things, and that takes away from that central theme of like fatherhood trauma, and like the trauma of a father leaving and a father wanting to be different from his father. I'm like, let's explore those things. Let's explore the differences between Josh and his dad and Josh and Dalton. Like, let's explore those things, and we don't get to. So unfortunately, I think we're taken out of some of the great meat and potatoes of the movie for more scares, for exploring the what's it called again? The further again. And I'm just like, we've done that. We've done that for 4 movies. We know the further, we know about the astral projection thing. We don't have to go through this fish out of water thing again. And it was just kind of weird. So yeah, I'm with you, man. 3 out of 5. Not the best in the franchise. Certainly not as bad as The Last Key. But I'm with you, I think. Not as good as 3. I think
I would say that.
there.
I would say that. And I liked chapter 3. So
yeah, 3 was pretty decent after having watched it. I was like, okay, you know what? I mess with 3. I think for me it's 1, 2, 3. This one and then Last Key. But you like 2. You said that 2, man. That's the one for you, huh?
No, 2 takes the cake for me, because I liked like closing the loops on the first film, and then also just visually it was really, really fantastic. And also I kind of liked it was almost like The Shining-esque, because daddy goes crazy and tries to kill his family kind of thing. So,
yeah, that was cool.
It's shining light, but it's kind of its own thing. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, and I like the whole. I actually like them kind of revisiting that here, and somebody said, who was it? Somebody on Twitter was like, going into this one blind without having seen the others. I was like, you're gonna need to watch the other ones at least 2. You gotta. Watch.
No, and it's like it's weird, because it's like you see Rose Byrne and their divorce. It's like you're not getting any of that backstory. You're losing the emotion of the film, and
I would say what there's like something that really bothers me, but it's a huge spoiler. I'll let you know after the stream. But the way they go about like Josh's dad is completely terrible. Like,
oh yeah, no, dude. I thought they were gonna do so much more with that,
right?
And like you said, I don't even think they properly resolved it. It was all just focused on Dalton. They didn't even address any of Josh's ghosts. So.
Right. I was like, oh, okay. And then there's just a weird moment in the movie where you're kind of like, okay, we're in the further. I was really, it was hard for me to keep track of what the hell Josh was even doing there. Like, right. I was like, what the hell is he even trying to like accomplish with this door?
Right.
Just a weird, strange last 20, 30 minutes too, that I was just like.
See, that's the thing. I think the film, for me, it started off pretty strong with them going to college, and then that dynamic, and then the resolution on Red Door is probably one of my least favorites out of all of them.
Yeah,
and even The Last Key, I didn't hate it because it retreats the chapter 3. It almost does the same thing. But I think as a whole, like, I didn't like the resolution of this one. So no spoilers. No spoilers.
I think the resolve for this one was like rushed, and it was like, dude, you kind of get to the end and you're like, okay, maybe this is another case of this should have just been a flat 2 hours, maybe.
Yeah,
because it just rushed that end.
I don't know what Joseon and Laser are doing in the chat, but yo, whatever, man.
And such.
He's over here like, oh, baby, I like raw.
You
Shouts
talk
out
about that
ODB.
ramen, bro. Talk about that
I don't know.
ramen. Yeah, ramen. I haven't had like packaged ramen in ages. But let's talk about a movie that Lo is fresh out of that is actually better than Insidious. Joyride, which was a joy, man. I mean, you're fresh out of it, bro. It's a couple weeks for me, man. How you feeling about that Joyride? What you think, man? I got out and I instantly knew you were gonna like it.
I just loved it. And look, and I'm biased because I am Asian American. My parents aren't from this country, they immigrated here. So immediately the story grabs you from that perspective and it speaks to me and I enjoy it. And look, I'm sorry to all the, white critics out there that can't relate to this story, but look, 100 years of cinema focused on your guys' characters and stories, and let us have one. That's all I gotta say about that. Let us have one. It's a story that needs to be told. These actresses are wonderful. They're funny. And look, it's a little bit Bridesmaids light. I
Yeah, a
totally
little
get
bit.
some people are saying like, oh, this movie wasn't quite original, but like, come on, guys. How many
Yes.
times have we done the buddy cop movie with different actors? And it's like, oh, let's just do the buddy cop movie with this guy and this guy, Eddie Murphy and Owen Wilson, Robert De Niro. And like the buddy cop thing has been done to death since, 48 Hours, Nick Nolte and Eddie Murphy. So it's like, it's a formula, but it's a formula that can work for certain actors. It's a formula that can work with certain groups of actors. We got 4 Asian girls here. Sure, they're doing a hangover / bridesmaids thing. Whatever. It's fun. It's funny. And honestly, it's well written, which is why I am actually supporting it so much. It's very witty. It's very creative with the way they tell their hangover / bridesmaid story. I thought that in itself was original, the way they presented their story. And again, it's what audiences aren't used to. They're in China. They're exploring culture dynamics that, I mean, no offense, if you're white or any other race, you won't really know that. We're presenting it to you and you can learn, if from an Asian perspective. So I loved it.
Yeah, Bridesmaids didn't do that part.
Right. No, and I loved it. I thought it was hilarious. I'm kind of bummed it's not killing it at the box office. I think Lionsgate is set to lose some money or whatever, but I just hope that word of mouth spreads because my theater was packed. I had a good time. So I'm glad you liked it too, Leo. So,
well, man, they're doing all these damn pre-screenings. I'm like, y'all gotta quit with this book smart ass Flash, all this bullshit. Well, stop doing the tons of pre-screenings.
Those are free, right?
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah, the pre-fan screenings. It hurts for movies like Joyride. Like, okay, The Flash, whatever. But still, that it kind of hurt that. But like for the Joyrides, the book smarts and stuff, that completely just destroys its box office. People are going to wait for it to come to Netflix to watch it again because it was enjoyable. Also, this is Adele Lim's directorial debut, and she had a screenwriter. She was a screenwriter for both Crazy Rich Asians and Raya and the Last Dragon. So it's great to see her like stepping into that director role because these 4 women and their chemistry was beautiful on screen. And that, of course, comes a lot from Adele Lim, who really put in a lot of work to this movie. Saw her do a couple panels, and the way she talked about it, you could just tell she was very excited about this project. It's so much fun. Great to see Ashley Park. I actually just discovered her through Beef, and I liked her character on there. She wasn't really a main character, kind of a side character on Beef, but I really liked her here. I was talking to Lo before this. Sherry Cola was great. I didn't even know who Sherry Cola was until I watched this, and I was like, she's hilarious. But I was talking to Lo about before this. This is nothing against Awkwafina, nothing against her and her talent and the energy that she brings to whatever role she's in. There are 4 very talented Asian actresses. We don't have to pick Awkwafina every time. I want to see Sherry Cola in some more stuff. I want to see Ashley Park in some more stuff. I want to see these actresses in more stuff because they had great chemistry together. They were funny. It was never boring. It got insane. It got crazy. It just, I loved how funny and raunchy it was. And it just brings me back to what I was saying. We need more. We need these women more in Hollywood. We need to see them in more roles. I'm looking at Ashley Park's filmography, and I was just looking right after the movie, and I was like, where have I seen her from? And it's bad that it took me Beef, like all the way to Beef, which also came out this year, to know who she is. And she's also in Crazy Rich Asians. I know she has a small role in that one. So she's in Crazy Rich Asians, but yeah, I need some more. What's up, G Kobe P? Good to see you, man.
Colby? I didn't want to interrupt you, Leo, but what's up, Colby?
What's going on, man? But yeah, I need them and more. I think.
Okay.
I really liked a lot of them together, man. I'm like, they had great chemistry.
I'm itching to say this, and this is the last thing I'll say because I don't want it to be a political, like racial thing. But guys,
say it.
There are 10 films in the American Pie franchise. Back in the day, in the 80s, y'all had Porky's and Summer Camp Ski School, whatever, all these raunchy, white America comedies. So let us have one. That's all I'm saying.
I hear it, man.
Funny. Asian girls can be raunchy. Asian girls can be freaky. Like, let us have some fun, man. And also, last thing, and this is more of a critical analyst here. The Asian perspective is really interesting because it's one of those things you can relate to no matter what type of Asian you are, like Indian American, Filipino American, Vietnamese American, Chinese American, Korean American. It's very relatable too. So I think, it's not just one culture here. So I think that's something that I am happy to see in this film. It speaks to a lot of us, and a lot of us are out here as Asian Americans. So check it out. I loved it.
And see, that's why representation is important, because getting different stories and giving people from different backgrounds their comedies, their stories, their stuff, it's important, bro. Because I was like thinking about this and I'm like, Crazy Rich Asians is like the other one that really comes to mind of this gravitas. And I'm like, yeah, this has got to be done way more, man. You got Joe San in the comments, Vietnamese American. Listen, man, these stories are important. They're important. And the fact that it's pathetic to me, in my opinion, and I'm going to say this, it's pathetic to me that I'm sitting up here and American Pie's got 20 films. There's so much in white and black comedy. And I can only think of Crazy Rich Asians being the only one like fully about, Asian culture, Asian representation. That's the only other one besides Joyride I can think about. That's bad. So it's good that there's more movies coming out that are centered on Asian backgrounds and culture. I wish this did a little bit better because of that, but I'm 100% blaming those pre-screenings. Films like these should not be pre-screened like that. They just cannot be. They are not big enough, like The Flash, like The Suicide Squad, like Marvel and all them. They're not blockbusters. They got to have their time in the sun, and they can't do that if you're going to pre-screen them for free to plenty of audiences around the nation. So I just think that's the only thing that happened with Joyride is they just pre-screened the fuck out of it. And they
probably would have made a lot more money without that, right?
Yeah. G. Colby referencing the writers here. I'm not sure how to say that last name, but Miss Cherry is one of the writers. And then I know that Teresa Haishao, I think is how you pronounce it, is another one. They both wrote on Family Guy. So they both have a lot of like comedic chops. I know the other woman, Teresa Haishao, also did American Dad, a couple episodes of that. They have some really good comedic chops, and it's very obvious here. The script is sharp, it's witty, it's funny. It's a lot of fun, man.
I was going to say, I don't know how much, because I've seen Cherry's name in Family Guy episodes, so I don't know how much of those jokes got in, but I can kind of see the vision now, because
yeah,
like it's like there is some Family Guy-ish jokes in there,
Yeah, man.
Hey guys, I love Superbad, but that tale's been told, right? So
right. And when it comes to
I love Superbad.
right. America's a place of immigrants and many nations coming together, which studios shouldn't be embracing the dumb myths about the overseas appeal of non-white leads in comedies or other genres. Yeah, my whole thing about making more comedies centered around and look, we just had The Blackening, all black horror movie.
That was awesome.
So it's like we have to make more movies of people in America people in America aren't all white. Not
Yeah.
everybody is white. We need to make more movies of people from different backgrounds. So I love this movie. I think it's funny. I think Stephanie Hugh is a fucking hoot. I'm watching this movie and I'm just like, you were better than Jamie Lee Curtis in that movie.
Great. I really hope. And look, see, that's another thing I feel it's getting overlooked. She's an Oscar-nominated actress now. I hope she gets tons of more work.
Yeah,
she deserves it. And you know, one more thing to piggyback on what I was saying earlier about the Asian experience. It's like, if anything, like the more representation we give out, it shows us how much more we can relate to each other.
Yeah.
Because as someone like I'm Filipino, but I'm watching Kamala Khan and Miss Marvel, and I'm like, yo, some of her family dynamics aren't all that different from mine, and I can relate to like what she goes through with her parents and her crazy family parties. So it's like this can kind of bring cultures together. Like some of our cultures aren't all that different from each other. And shouts out Joseon. You know, he's talking about he has a Vietnamese background, and then sometimes those things are like we can relate to each other in that manner. So
yeah, and I'm sure it is relatable experiences. And see, that's so cool, man. Like that's unique to the Asian culture and the Asian experience. And like, yeah, we need way more, bro. Like, there's no excuse at this point. Just make more. Let's get Stephanie Hsu out there a lot more. And yeah, again,
this movie
and I'm like,
shouts out Ronnie Chang too. He's freaking great.
Yeah, I'm
I
like
love
looking
that guy.
at this. I'm like, listen,
he's so funny.
4 great Asian actresses. Give them work. Hollywood, give their asses some work. Jesus. All right, let's get to our what the fuck moment of the week. And we gotta talk about this problematic franchise. So The Purge 6. The Purge 6 would follow an America being broken into states based on ideology, sexuality, and religion. The quote says you have your black state, your gay state, your white evangelical state, and it's really a broken country. Like why? Why are we even making this scenario happen? Listen, I understand it's fiction. I understand it's like, oh, you know, it's so problematic. Like the way the Purge has gotten, it's just so, I don't give a shit. Let's not do this. Let's not make a movie that's like in some way, shape, or form, somewhat encouraging this. Let's not do that.
I was going to say, like, this movie is creating the exact nightmare scenario that the world is almost leaning towards. Because it's almost getting to that point to where it's like, people hate this subgroup. People hate this race. People hate. It's like we do not need to be separated any more than we already are. So,
and here comes The Purge 6. 6. Can you believe we've gotten a 6 of these? The Purge 6. Talking about, oh yeah, there's this state, there's that state, and it's like, let's not even like make that like a reality. Oh man, Purge Universe is like MAGA version of RoboCop. It gives these dum-dums ideas. Exactly. Like, stop giving them ideas that this is what the world could look like in blank years. Like, no, we don't want that, dude.
I was gonna say, I hope somebody out there just lights this film on fire and then spreads it around, because I haven't seen this. I saw the first Purge, had zero interest to watch any other one. So I don't know. Somebody out there likes this idea of just killing each other and stuff. So.
By the way, Jollibee is fire.
Yo, I wasn't sure if you saw that. So Chris Mark, I am a fan of Jollibee. Get them chicken joys, you know what I mean, with the apple mango pie and
and I don't know that much about it, but I had that chicken.
If you're not dipping your chicken in the gravy, guys, you're doing it wrong. Just saying. You gotta do it with the gravy. And look, be a little Asian, get a scoop of rice, put some chicken on there with the gravy. Oh. Mwah. Delicious.
Man, I'm gonna let you have that gravy, bro. That is all you. But, yeah, this Purge, man. This damn Purge, bro. We gotta
Joseon,
man.
You gotta try some Chicken Joy, man. Try some Jollibee Chicken Joy. It's got some quality to it.
Better than KFC and Churches, I can tell you that. Now the good Popeyes, maybe not, but like KFC and Churches don't got shit on Jollibee. But yeah, the Purge movies suck. I don't get the following. Bullshit like this.
And it's very mean-spirited, which is exactly what this announcement is to me. It's very mean-spirited. And it brings out the worst in our culture. And it's like, I'd rather not promote that.
Right. Like, just, I get that it's like, oh, it's a movie, it's fiction. I don't give a shit. We're giving people ideas. We're bringing people's ideas to life, and it makes me wonder, like, what is up with these writers? Like, are y'all really getting some joy out of writing this kind of stuff? Because it makes me question y'all. Like, okay, why you want to bring this world to life so much? It's a little odd. But yeah, I think we could all agree it's time for the purge to get purged. Get rid of that motherfucking shit. All right, Lo, let us know, man, where the people can find you and what you got coming up in your world, man. What's coming up?
All right. You can follow me on Twitter or Letterboxd at Marcellus Durden. I'm a proud reviewer, editor, writer, critic for the Cinema Spot. I finally finished my review for Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. That review is live on the website. Check us out at thecinemaspot.com. All socials at the Cinema Spot. I'm playing catch up. All of us are. We kind of took like a little bit of a leave in June. We had some website construction issues and some admin issues, but we are pumping out reviews. On top of mine, we got a review for Transformers. We got a review for we got news for all the stuff that we talk about here, and I'm gonna write a review for Insidious and Asteroid City. That is gonna get done this week. So keep an eye out at thecinemaspot.com.
Thecinemaspot.com, baby. Y'all go check them out if you haven't yet, and if you haven't, you should have hit that subscribe button on this channel and head on over to the main channel, Geekly Goods, y'all. Come on over. We got a lot going on with my adventures with Superman. I got to catch up on reviews, y'all. I actually got like 3 or 4 reviews to pump out this week. So you will see Mission Impossible and several other reviews that are, Jesus, they're still popping fireworks. Several other reviews that are coming up, but also reactions for My Adventures with Superman Episode 3 will be coming out later on this week, and some more shorts too. We've got a little short strategy I'm cooking up, so be on the lookout, guys. And yeah, Laser, it is our 30th episode. I completely forgot to mention it is our episode number 30, y'all. We just gonna keep it rolling, keep it rocking. But y'all, be sure to come back same time, same place next week, and we'll see you next time on Geekly Goods.